Good morning. For the record, it is August 26, 2021, and we are glad to be here, even with certain people present. But it is always a blast. This is our weekly ongoing BDA training. And today, for what we're going to be talking about is two things. The first one we'll spend the most of the time on, but we have Kim Kobos here from 3Mark. She is our favorite person at 3Mark because she does commissions, runs that whole department. So Kim is going to talk about how commissions work on the affiliate contract. We'll have some time for questions and things like that, but it'll be a good explanation because it is, unless you get an explanation, it usually is not understood the first time. At least it wasn't by me. So Kim will walk through that, and then we'll spend, depending on the time we have left, a little time talking about quotes and illustrations, because I know that was a question that some people were asking as well. But without any further ado, Kim, I'm going to pass the floor on to you, and we'll get into it. So you can, if you need to share your screen, you can. And glad to have you on.
Sounds good. Can you guys see my screen now?
We can.
Okay, perfect. So as Nathan said, I'm Kim. I'm the only person in commission, so if any questions that you have can come to me. On 3Mark's website, under tools and resources and under commissions, my info is right down here if you ever need to get a touch of me. The number one question I get is, my agent just placed a case. When is he or she going to get paid? This commission calendar right here shows you all the carriers we're contracted with, when they cut off, and then when the agent can expect a deposit or a check. This is also the same schedule that 3Mark gets paid as well. So you'll see, if you placed a case, when you can expect your override.
I'm sorry, Kim, real quick, just because I know I'm familiar with the tab. That tab, the commissions tab, doesn't show up for us.
Okay, then just let me know, because you just need a different view, and Renee can give you the affiliate view.
Ah, gotcha. So that's a good question. So everyone make note of that. We will we'll email Renee with a list. And
and with that affiliate view under tools and resources, it'll also give you the care or schedules that you can pull and send to all your agents if you need be.
Oh, that's perfect. All right, I've made a note of that, and we will go ahead and do that for everyone here.
Perfect. The statements that you receive from 3Mark is strictly the affiliate overrides. Any agent statements will have to be pulled on the carrier level. They're not synced up with Smart Office at all. We do pay the affiliate overrides on the 15th and the last day of the month. If that lands on a Friday or a holiday, or on the weekend or a holiday, you do get paid the Friday before. We do cut off 2 business days prior to the deposit. So you'll know what policies you're going to get paid on, and the amount that will be deposited on the 15th or the last day of the month. Commission statements are emailed, and they're currently being emailed to the primary address on file. If you do need it sent to more than one person, just let me know, and I can add that person to the list. You also do have access to your affiliate statements as well through Smart Office. So under the commissions, if you just click on this bar right here, Smart Office, this will pop up. In order to find your statements, you would have to come to this drop box down here, just hover people over companies and advisor agency, and you would have to search whichever is under the affiliate.
So type
the affiliate
your name
agreement.
Or corporation.
So once you search that, your record will pop up, and under this blue row, you just go to Smart Checks, and then they're all archived from the beginning, so you'll never miss one. When you click on one of those links, your statement will look like this. They are subcategorized by the carriers. You'll see the check date, the primary insured, the primary advisor. And just to let you know, if there is a policy that is, say, is a 50-50 split between two agents, you'll only see the agent listed first on the Smart Office record. You'll see the policy number, the policy date, and when you read your statement, it's basically the flow of money. Actual premium paid is the amount insured pays the carrier. The actual amount paid is 3 marks override. So when you read your statement, you're basically getting a portion of 3 marks overrides. Can't read.
Hey, Kim.
Yes.
So the actual premium paid, if it was split 50-50, will that be the total amount of premium for both advisors, or is that just their share of premium?
It will be the total. So if Harold is splitting it with someone else, you'll see 2 entries of the 252. It won't be split in half.
Thank you.
So this one is a flat 20. So on this statement, they got 20% of what 3 market. So the 101 is 20% of the $5.04.
So I'm gonna hold on right there so everyone understands that that percentage, again, is the percentage of override that you're getting of the total, the actual amount paid. So when you're looking at the grid, the grid is not going to translate to, you're not going to see 20%, but that's what it is. That's what you're seeing on the grid, is the amount of override on that you're getting. But on the commission statement, it's broken up as the percentage of the override from of the difference from 3 mark. That made sense. All right. So let's say level 1, just as an example, for AIG is the override is 5%, just to make it easy. And you look at the grid, and the grid says, well, level 1 is 5%. So whatever the agent got paid, you're getting 5%. But if you look at this percentage, you're not going to see 5% override on here. You're going to see a percentage of the actual amount paid from 3 mark. That percentage, this 20% or 10% or 15% or 30% or whatever it is going to equal the same amount that's on the grid. Did that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, if Jeff got it, Jason, you should be able to get it too.
Even using my abacus.
See, there
That's
you go.
right. Now I just need to learn how to use it properly.
Yeah. No,
That's why my numbers are always off.
I just wanted to mention that because I know that was when I first started with 3 mark, that was a confusing piece for me, is that those percentages didn't line up to the grid. So sorry, Kim, go ahead.
Oh, no worries. No, just so also speaking of the grid, that also confuses some people. Next to some of the carrier names will be this like little asterisk. It just means that the total override will come in 2 portions. So if you take this first one, the override total is 10. So if you get your first statement, you only get 5. It's a base portion. So the remaining 5 is coming as a production bonus the month after. So if, let's say you write a policy in August, you'll get the base portion in August, and then you'll get the bonus portion in September. That will equal the 10 on your grid. Does that make sense?
Yep, that made sense to me. Does that make sense to everyone here?
Yep. Also, if your agents have any chargebacks for any reason, and they do not either write new business or send in a check to clear it, and it rolls up to 3 mark, we then pass it along to you at 100%. We do get notified from the carrier when one of your agents has a debt for X amount of time. We'll let you know so that you can help reach out to the agent so it doesn't roll up to us.
And on that note, with the chargeback too, when the chargeback does happen, the first thing that's going to happen is that they're going to take the override chargeback and apply that to the next statement, basically. So whatever you earned on the override from that case, then the next statement, you'll see a negative for that amount, but it's only the override portion. It takes a while for it to roll up to you. And ideally they write another case and it takes care of it and no problem, or they get it back on back in force.
So we're only responsible for the override, correct?
Well, you're responsible for the override initially, but if the agent takes their money and leaves and runs,
Mhm.
that if that rolls up to you and they don't have any renewals or they don't have any other cases, then it can and will roll up to you at some point down the road.
And like I said, we do get notified when that happens, and they let us know when we can expect a hit. That way we can all reach out to the agent and try to get them the right new business or clear it before it has to even roll up to 3 Mark, and then we pass it to you guys.
Yeah, that should be, I think that should be something that is explained to us earlier in this process than where it is right now. I was completely unaware of that. So I think that might be something to introduce to BDAs in the beginning and not, into their, if we didn't have this meeting with you, Kim, I still wouldn't know that. So that needs to be explained going forward.
And I agree. And so just from my perspective as well, let me take a step back. I know it rolls up to everyone, but we, like, for example, Wella or myself or Praxis is also in that chain. So for a lot of the time, that's how it works. And you're going to see that on the statement. We have a different conversation afterwards about who's taking care of that and who's actually responsible for if that does roll up. Because Praxis, for example, would participate and also take care of the responsibility, not just not the BDAs. So that would be a conversation. So you're not, let me just say from our end, from Praxis's standpoint, you are not 100% liable for all those, for the chargeback directly to you.
And that would be only on annualization.
No, it depends on carrier.
Well,
'Cause each,
as earned, you shouldn't have that problem. It's only, wouldn't it only come into play really if somebody's on an annualization schedule?
there are a few carriers that still do a chargeback, or like, for example, we have a premium finance case going in. Well, premium financing case has a chargeback for 4 years, even as premiums being paid. So depends on the carrier and depends on the case.
A little bit more exception to the rule, but I see
Yeah.
your point.
There are a few carriers that do have chargebacks even when it's as earned,
Okay.
but that's very few and far in between.
Yes, and speaking of annualization, on our contracting side, we allow you to be annualized with 2 carriers. So for 3 Mark, when you see your overrides, we are advanced with Protective and American General on all the products with American General except for the guaranteed issue whole life. So on those two carriers, we're advanced even if the agent is paid as earned on the carrier level.
Gotcha.
Do most of the carriers offer annualization to the agent at the discretion of us?
We have a handful. I wouldn't say every single carrier offers it, but I can get, we can get you a list.
There's actually a list that the list should be in band. If it's not, I do have that list, or I think I might have sent it out before. Not every carrier does it, but a decent amount of them do.
Does anyone have any questions? My side's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Kim, say, any other things that pops up on your guys' end for?
Yeah, Kim, if an producer starts as earned, can it go to an annualization?
Oh, of course, yes.
Okay, I thought so, but I just want to confirm.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
Correct. And if they start off as earned and they write a policy and then they switch over to advance, it's usually only effective for new business after the advancement is
Yeah,
placed.
it's going forward. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The other piece, just as a side note with advances, so yourself or like if you have, like this is an example, if you have a final expense agent and they need a couple more carriers advanced, we can basically write a note to 3Mark and take care of, they're asking for collateral basically. So either Wella or Praxis or yourselves, if you guys vouch for the agent, we can get them a couple more carriers advanced if they need it. But like I said, it's a conversation because that can get messy quickly.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think. Any other questions that you guys have from either the statements that you guys saw or carrier things, advances? No, everyone good?
Pretty much, as I understand it, the producer's comp and our comp will most likely never coincide as far as when we get paid. Theirs
Yeah.
is based on the schedule of the company and ours is based on 3Mark's bi-weekly, if you will, middle of the month and end of the month.
Bi-monthly. Mm-hmm.
Yep, that is correct.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm
Well,
good.
if there's no other questions, then we'll let Kim go and then we can have a discussion afterwards and move on to some other things. But if Kim is always there, if we need help, I will get everyone access to that commission tab. So I will pass that on to everyone. And then I think that was about it. And then, like I said, ask Kim if you have questions or touch base with myself as well.
Excellent. Kim, do you prefer emails?
Email or phone call, it's either one.
Okay.
It was nice
Yeah,
meeting
Jeff's
you.
gonna call you because he likes calling people, so.
Sounds good.
Careful, Kim. No, that sounds good. Well, I appreciate your time, Kim, explaining that, and then we'll, if we need you, we know where to find you.
All right. Y'all have a great day.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kim.
too. Thanks for your time.
Bye.
All right. So, any other questions outside of that? And then there's a couple things that I'll address with that as well.
I'm good.
Seems self-explanatory.
Yeah, it's not, like I said, once it gets explained, I think the couple things, biggest thing for me was when I first saw the commission statements, the percentage is not matching up. So that's a little confusing at the beginning.
Yeah, I'll just work off the grid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like I said, that percentage is going to line up with the with what's on the grid. It just shows on the commission statement different because that's how they do their accounting of the math. It makes it a lot simpler.
And
What was that?
that accountants and accounting, it always makes things harder than it needs to be.
It can. But let's see. Sorry. What I was going to say then is, so the one thing I was going to address with the chargebacks. So like I said, very clearly, that is if things do roll up, it's a conversation each time. We usually take care of all chargebacks, either between the AMOs or ourselves, as long as, as long as you guys are active and, working with us, we don't make the BDAs ultimately responsible for the chargebacks that roll up from agents. Now, if it is happening and it happens a lot, then we have to have a conversation. There's always that concept of, you know, understanding who you're working with and what they're doing, because there's definitely some shysters out there. And like I said, we try to prevent that as much as possible, which is why I like kind of how 3Mark handled advances, because advances are the biggest potential problem with chargebacks, basically. And you said right consistently, but any questions on that end from your perspective? Are we good on commissions? Any other concerns? Because I will take what you said, Jason, like I said, and then when we do the other BDA boot camps, basically, there's things that we can address within that and have those conversations.
Yeah, just so that someone doesn't get kind of like sticker shock or shock from hearing that. And it sounds a lot worse. I mean, nothing against Kim, but the way that she explained it, saying that it goes back to us, and then what you just said, it definitely softens the blow. But if you have, 500 agents underneath you and you're worried about a couple thousand in chargebacks a month because they're writing a ton of business, it's just something that I think the BDA should be aware of.
Yeah. And like I said, it's 500 agents, a couple $1,000 in chargeback shouldn't be an issue.
True.
You at that point, you won't even see it on your, you won't even really notice it in your commission statements because
I notice every penny, Nathan. That's it.
Fair enough. It is still a valid point.
And I know, so do you have my background? Originally, I went to DePaul in their Strobel program to be, a CPA. And I worked in an accounting agency for a year and a half. And I'm old school to the penny all the time. And so for me, when things don't line up, it makes me distrust the system that's in place. So
absolutely.
Yeah,
Well, this will definitely, like I said, this is recorded. We'll keep it in the on the Praxis page as well, so you guys can view this at any time, or if you have any questions, or if you bring on, because you might bring on an agency that ends up getting an affiliate contract because they need a little higher comp. It's the same. It's the same aspect. With that said, then we'll switch gears. If any other questions come up, like I said, you guys know where to find Kim. You can talk to me as well, but Kim is going to be the best resource, for all of those commissions. She does a very good job on that. She's fixed a lot of stuff.
Hey, Nathan, real quick though, about the commission statements. If there is no production between the 15th and the 31st, is there no statement sent out then, or?
That's a good question, actually. I'm not sure about that. I'm pretty sure there isn't, if there's nothing on there yet. So you won't get it because there's nothing, you're getting a blank sheet.
Yeah.
Usually once you have one policy in, then you're always seeing a statement, basically, because you're either going to see a renewal or the next as premium that they put in. So there's always going to be something on there after one case, basically.
And there's no minimum.
No
So like the
minimum.
example that Kim showed, it was like $5.04. If there's
50.
if there's comp generated, you're going to see a statement.
If there's comp generated, you're going to see a statement. But if it's below $50, then they won't pay out you won't see it in your bank account.
Yeah.
Okay, so $50 minimum.
Yeah, like George.
Even with
George
direct,
made, yeah.
even with
So like
direct deposit.
Right. Yeah. So with George, and I found out about this, and I emailed Kim, and Nathan explained it too. I had he had one case that went through. My override was $12.80 monthly. It has to. I won't see any money until the 4th month.
Yeah.
On that, if there's nothing else written.
Unless there's other cases that go in. Yeah, it's a $50 minimum. That's how most the accounting systems on the back end, they don't send out a check until that gets to that point.
Just to clarify, when you say check, you're talking about a direct deposit.
A direct deposit, I mean, if you don't set up a direct deposit, they'll send out a check.
Okay. But either way, the minimum is $50.
Yeah, minimum is 50.
Okay. Okay.
That is correct. But you'll see a commission statement, even if it's 1 cent.
Got it.
And I will say this, just because now we've been on this side with 3Mark for 3 years. It is nice with renewals. It adds up. Like when you have agents writing over a couple year period of time, and even if someone writes a case, then there's still, the renewals aren't as high as you would get as an agent, but they definitely add up with the amount of volume. So just FYI. Any other questions?
No.
All right, so then I'm going to shift gears then, and then let's talk about quotes and illustrations, because I know that was something that specifically Jason brought up, but there's you're not the only one. So really quick, so that I can, because this is like, I don't want to do a blanket one. What specifically do you want to know about quotes and illustrations right now?
Well, for me, it was, where to locate the quoting, where to go on 3Mark for the different products. And Jeff showed me that. So it might be helpful to show Jody. And then just, just where to go and all of that.
All right. So, and I'm not being sarcastic, but when you log in, the first thing is you're going to see the quotes tab come up. That's the first place you're going to look. There's 3 different quote engines that 3Mark has. You have iPipeline, you have Vital Quote, and you have WinFlex. So very simply, iPipeline and Vital Quote are for term and GUL price comparisons only, really. iPipeline is going to be able to link you, once you run a quote, it will link you directly to the e-app. So it makes it very easy. This is really good for, like the Jeff, we talked about it with the PNC shop as an example, because they can literally go in here, run a quote, literally write it straight from here, and it's super simple. Vital Quote as a little bit more nuts and bolts to it, that it has a little bit more tools, but same thing as you're looking at a term and guaranteed universal life price comparisons. It has most of the carriers in there, not all of the carriers, because not all carriers are in some of these systems. But that's what Vital Quote is for. Vital Quote also has the ability to, type in, some health parameters, and it will come back with a basic idea of, it will search the underwriting guidelines for that as well. But that's Vital Quote. And then WinFlex is the major, probably, I don't know if it's the largest, but it's one of the largest third-party illustration softwares that many carriers use. So if you're looking for the full illustration, or you need to do a whole life or an IUL, and this is all on the life side. Annuities get a little bit more, a little different. So we'll talk about that in a second. But WinFlex, you'll see you can build out the policy. A lot of carriers are on there. You can request carriers. So that's WinFlex. So that's a high level overview. Does that make sense though?
Yeah, I needed help with the WinFlex. You just explained that to me. So that was perfect. Thank you.
Gotcha. So I'll jump into WinFlex just for a second, but yeah, WinFlex full illustrations. You're not really doing basic basic quotes on that side. I do have a video on this, so I'm not going to go through this in a crazy amount of depth, but you can go to Praxis's page and look it up. But the biggest thing is, here's a list of carriers that are in there. Some of them that aren't in here, or you don't see them, you may have to request them directly. or you can go into user profile. And sometimes you can add them straight from here by going to add companies and clicking it here. So there's other ones that I don't have on here because I don't need them.
Nathan,
Yes.
do you need a green light when you do that from the carrier?
Each carrier is different. So like Allianz, for example, will not let you do this unless you have an agent code with them. Other ones, you can type in, and this would be the thing that I would do if you're requesting a carrier to quote in WinFlex. Just type in 3-mark. A lot of times that takes care of the requirement. Other carriers, you request it and they'll give it to you right away. Is there?
Okay, so just so I'm clear, in the agent code, type in 3-mark and that should give us approval?
Yes, for most of them that gives you approval. Like I said, I'm using Allianz as an easy example. Allianz won't let you get it unless you have a agent
Actual
code with
writing
them.
code.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. But so the only way is to, what's the word I'm looking for? Trial and error.
Yeah,
Type in 3-mark. If they come back, fine. If they don't, then let you know that we're looking to get that carrier and see what we can do.
yeah, and then we can we can try and work out some things with them and get bypass those systems basically. But yes, that's basically how that works. There's another I was going to make on that side. Yeah, let me know. But yeah, that's the easiest way to try them. Oh, it's not an instant approval. So you're going to get whatever email that you have that you logged in, put into here. You're going to get an email letting you know whether you got approved or why you didn't get approved, basically. So keep a heads up for that. But anyways, I won't go through like an actual illustration, but a lot of the carriers are back here. This is something that I would teach the agent to do to know where it is as well. And most of them are familiar with WinFlex. All right, really quick, any questions about those three? All right, so then the other piece then is talking about the annuity side. So there's a few different tools we have for that. So one in here, if you go to products and solutions and annuities, and this isn't the full version, but you can go into hold on a second. Let's see. Did I go? It's been a little bit since I've been here. Hold on a second. Here. So, oh, there it is. You guys can click on Annuity Rate Watch. You should have a light version of that does some comparisons. That's one place. The other tool that we teach everyone to use is Annuities Genius. And we should do it. I should do an actual training on this actually so that we can record it. But get a free version to Annuities Genius. We have a link on our side as well. It's in the 3i community tab. It's been unbanned before as well. But you can run and see different comparisons and look up different indexed annuities. This isn't going to run the illustration for you, but it will allow you to see which carrier you need to go to in certain situations. You can't do a lot of things in here, but you can search up you can sort it by participation rates, triggered performance spreads, caps, and things like that based on what they're looking for. Or like bonus, for example, who gives the highest bonus right now? So Athene gives a big bonus. So there's lots of things to do with this, but that would be one of the first places I would go is to Annuities Genius to look up different things on annuities. And then from there, you're going to the carrier. And you can either call the carrier, you can tell the agent. Again, the idea is that we're pushing back most of the responsibility on the agent, unless they're, a good agent and we want to help. We've decided that we want to serve them in that way. But that way they'll get the most accurate and best information. If you're taking something off plate, you have a good annuity producer, that's worthwhile to make a phone call for them every once in a while to run a quote and illustration. But that's a different philosophy. This is where you would find the information basically to understand what's it like. And then you of course have Bo as well. So Bo Blowen at 3Mark, he runs the annuity department. If you guys want to, you guys can give him a call, you can shoot him an email. He can run quotes and illustrations for you also. So you have between things like Annuities Genius, the carrier, and Bo, and then of course the internals at the carriers as well. Those are all good people that you guys can talk to get annuity quotes and illustrations. Any questions on that on annuities?
Just the link to Annuity Genius.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say we can find that in band?
Yeah, and I'll what I'll do real quick is to make it super simple, I will post it again. I'm just going to create a separate post right now, because we have our own unique link that gives it should give a couple extra things within it, but it also, if someone actually wants to use the actual service, it would give them a 20%, $20 discount, because it's like $159 a month.
Yeah, the one that expands information.
Well, yeah, it does a lot more than expand information.
Well, yeah, services, we should say, yeah.
Yeah, we have a, yes, we'll keep it simple for now. There's a video on the 3i community page that we did a webinar on the Annuities Genius platform. But if you have a producer that wants to do annuities or is already doing annuities, they should have Annuities Genius, like hands down. Let's see. Any other questions on, I know that's a super high level overview, but any questions?
Does anybody here feel that we should have a call dedicated to that to go in a little more in depth?
Yeah, I'd like to.
That's a good idea.
That's a great topic for another BDA meeting on a Thursday morning.
Absolutely.
Wink,
Well, we
wink.
will we'll schedule that one. That's a pretty easy one. I don't even need other people in there for that one. So what I want you guys to do then is we'll probably do that maybe in 2-3 weeks, because we have something else planned for next week.
What's on the agenda for next week?
One America.
What about us?
Dennis we're going to record a video. I'm going to get, so you guys are more than welcome, but I have some of the other AMOs and BDAs that don't jump on here all the time. They're doing their own thing, but I'll have them on to see the One America platform basically. And we'll have that recorded. So that'll be next week. So probably the week after, unless there's anything else that pops up that's ends up being more important than that.
Nathan,
Yes.
X-ray. Should the same password as the one I use for quoting get me in?
No, you'll have to email Sandra. She's in that sheet, and she can set you up with a password and username for X-ray.
Right.
The X-ray system is something you can give out to agents directly as well.
Nathan, quick question. I saw on the carrier list Thrivent. What products do they offer?
That's a great question, Jason.
Being that they're, a fraternal non-for-profit and they need to have membership in order to uh, write policies, since I worked there for 3 years. How does that work?
That's a great question. Where did you see Thrivent?
It was on the Sure LC.
Really?
I mean, I don't know if it's if they're offering like maybe, well, no, everything has to be members only. I mean, that's the whole thing. Okay,
Could
Jeff, I
that-
know you're biting at the bit.
No, can that be a generic form then from Sure LLC?
Sure. No,
Or is
it
it
may be
specific to the-
something especially, like there's some things in there like that aren't on list, like for example, Allianz, the preferred contract is on the is in Sure LC, but it is not on any comp grid. And because it's a protected hierarchy, we can't have information out there like everyone would get slapped on the hand for it, basically. But so Thrivent may be the same thing. We have none on our end. We have done no business with Thrivent. So I'm not sure. What I would do is email Scott.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So for those type of things that are 3-mark related that you see, shoot Scott an email or give him a call, and he'd be able to give you resources and look at it and say, this is what's going on.
I mean, just with my background with Thrivent, if you do have anybody that is interested in getting contracted with them, I can help them out with that.
Yeah.
Just understanding it all, because they do things a little different. So.
Yeah, and that's the same thing that we're learning with, like, it's not probably not the same exact thing, but like Mass Mutual, because we just brought that contract on, that their contract works differently than most of the others as well. Yeah, I would email Scott or give him a call. He would be the best, Scott Myers. He would be the best person to talk to about that aspect, because I am not familiar with, I don't know Thrivent's product line. I don't know what 3-mark has access to. It's the same thing like Pacific Life, for example. Like Pacific Life we have, but we don't have their entire product line because they have different distributions. So we have a couple of their things, but not all of them. But Scott, any other questions, comments, concerns, conundrums, enigmas?
No. I don't.
Smile, Jason. Well then.
I'm just gonna sit here and smile like this the whole time,
I want that the whole time.
and I'll talk right through it, just because, I'm having
And then
trouble.
we're gonna freeze frame that. Yeah, there you go. Just please freeze your screen. Well, I appreciate everyone's time. Like I said, commission was the main thing that I wanted to go over, just so that we have that in there. We spent a little time on quotes and illustrations. We will take a deeper dive into quotes and illustrations in, like I said, 2 weeks.
And then Kim's last name is Kobos.
Yep, Kim Kobos. She is, like I said, also on the
Master sheet.
yeah, the master sheet.
I
So
printed out 3 of them. They're all over my office. So
like I said, it hasn't been on our high priority list, but we're gonna make that a digital list at some point too. And make it look cooler rather than just a Word document, but at least you guys have the context for now. Any other questions before we head out?
No, I think we're
No.
good. I'm good.
Yeah.
I apologize. Last other thing, I know Jason, you already said you mentioned you wouldn't even make it, but one thing that we are going to start doing is the call blocks. Like I said, not that everyone needs to show up on it all the time, but with everyone that we're working with, it would be beneficial. So
Yeah.
that'll be another time we can learn from each other and know that other people are making the calls at the same time that we are.
Yeah, the reason we have an agency meeting that day. So that's the reason why. But I'll be on the next one.
No worries. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Well, then we'll see who's going to be there for the next one. And then, but I'll be doing it I'll be hosting it every week.
Are you going to rotate the times, or are we going to be specific to one time every week, 2 weeks, whatever?
I would like to keep it at the same time, just so that we can, people can block it off on their schedule. If we want to have some special things that we want to do as we're going along, we can have that conversation, but I'm going to probably keep this call block the same every single time. So that we don't have to figure out with multiple people's schedules. If it ends up working out for a lot of people, or if it doesn't end up working out for a lot of different people, then let me know, and then we can maybe find a different time. But I'm going to keep this one static for right now.
Okay, and that's 1 p.m. every Wednesday.
Mhm.
Okay. Just to give you a heads up with me, I got to leave at 1:45 to pick up my kids on Wednesday. So I won't be able to, I don't know how long the call block is, but I'll be able to do 45 minutes.
Gotcha. I did it for 2 hours. That's good to know. Like I said, maybe we'll, it's a test run for right now. So
Yeah.
if there's other people that end up not being able to make it that time too, let's talk about a better time then that works for everyone. Cause we don't have, we don't have a billion people that we have to organize schedules with. So if it works out a better time where we can have more people there, or, on the Zoom basically, then that's what it's for. So
Cool.
awesome. I'm good. I'm done. You know where
Was
to
I
find me.
helpful today, Nathan?
What was that?
Was I helpful today?
You were
All right.
absolutely stunning.
I just, I aim to please. So
Hey, I appreciate all three of you. Like I said, if you have questions, let me know. Let's get rock and rolling.
sounds good.
All right.
Thanks, Nathan.
I'll catch you later.
Have a good rest of your
Bye.
day.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Have a good day.